Want to talk about a career well lived? Bill Gardner certainly had one. It seemed that everywhere he went, he did quite well. And while Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles are full of sun and fun, the Lone Star State shined mighty bright in the eyes of Bill in both Dallas-Fort Worth and San Antonio, too. In 1974, the radio landscape in Dallas-Fort Worth was changing. The mighty 1190 had been sold. FM music was finally being heard in more and more cars, and KVIL was the station people were tuning to. Bill was big. Bill was handsome. Bill was single, too, and K-Bill's fun and games department, well, they took advantage of that, and the competition did, too. So just after a year or so, he was lured to the McClendon-owned KNUS, where he took the reins of Morning Drive for K-News 99. While they could never duplicate the success of their former sister station KLIF, awards, accolades, and recognition from plenty of peers came Bill's way. And it wasn't long until broadcasters noticed that Bill had chops as a programmer, too. So on he went to San Antonio and Class FM, where he was their morning guy and vice president of programming. Bill took one more turn on KVIL, this time in afternoon drive in the late 80s, in what would be their final great days as the crown jewel of adult contemporary Texas radio. But Bill would go on to dazzle those who dialed upon him for decades afterward all over the United States of America. For his work in the Lone Star State and those he inspired and entertained here, there, and everywhere today, we honor you, Bill Gardner, a 2020 inductee of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
Hi, I'm Bill Gardner. I want to thank every balloting member of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame for voting me into the class of 2020. It's an honor, and I sure thank you for it. These days, you'll probably find me at our home here in Las Vegas, or maybe at www.billgardnerontheradio.com. But back in these days, I was having some wonderful memories in the great state of Texas. I've had the opportunity to work for some of the very best stations between the Red River and the Rio Grande. In 1982, we launched KLLS, Class FM San Antonio, where I was vice president of programming and morning guy. I worked for the McClendons, K-News, KNUS, Dallas. In 1974, I was on the original startup team at KVIL, Highland Park, Dallas, Fort Worth, and reappeared in 1979 and 1989. And thank you to George Johns for opening the door at both places, San Antonio and Dallas. And thank you to Jack Shell for stuffing the ballot box so I could finally get into the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. I think this calls for a celebration. Bill Gardner in the Hall of Fame? How about a Shiner Bock? Here's to some great radio.